Racism is a white people problem. That's what we tell ourselves. Colonizers did this. The West taught us. We're just victims of their system. Except that's bullshit. Because the very moment you show your passport, accent, or skin tone, an invisible pattern is triggered. What if the story is much bigger than simple classification of humans? By the end of this video, you'll know who actually wins the Squid Game of Asian racism. It's time to learn the checkboxes you need to tick just to play, and why the game may have been rigged from the start. Ever seen how racism actually works within Asia? A Filipino nurse saves a Korean patient's life in Seoul, gets thanked, then overhears the family discuss how unfortunate it is they got that kind of nurse. Or an Indian daughter who posts boyfriend's photo in family WhatsApp. The first reply, he's very dark. Second reply, South Indian? That's the strange hierarchy of prejudice inside the world's largest continent. Because when you pack that many individuals and cultures into one continuous landmass, you get more than just diversity. You get division and unsupervised competition. According to a Pew Research report published in 2023, over 40% of Asians had faced discrimination from other Asians. However, no one wants to call it what it is. It is dismissed as cultural preference, or everyone's favorite excuse, just a joke. Asian racism operates like a credit score system, in which colorism, nationalism, and linguistic hierarchy are all working together. Ace one category, fail another, and your total score can still tank. The only thing guaranteed to increase your social credit is by subscribing and dropping a like so you know what to do. There's a reason why James loved his trip to China, and there's a reason why Joseph here didn't. Before Europeans arrived, pale complexions were linked to wealthy elites who could afford to stay indoors, while darker skin signaled a life of manual labor under the sun. And when European colonizers arrived, they found a system already in place and turned the volume up to maximum. The British, French, and Dutch established racial hierarchies, where whiteness equaled power. They created a privileged class of locals who absorbed this ideology and became its most zealous enforcers. Then something fascinating happened. When the colonizers left, many Asian nations became the new complexion colonizers. The white East Asians and certain lighter-skinned Southeast Asians began to internalize and project similar hierarchies onto their darker-skinned neighbors. The cycle of superiority simply renewed itself, only this time from the inside. Today, that legacy has evolved into a multi-billion-dollar industry built on self-hatred. In the Philippines, skin whitening products account for almost 50% of the whole beauty market. And in South Korea, whitening essence goods generate more than $4 billion annually. A 2021 local survey in Thailand showed that individuals with lighter skin were 20% more likely to receive callbacks for public-facing job openings. Similar patterns can be seen in Japan, China, and the Philippines, where fair still means professional, while darker-skinned applicants are frequently sent to low-paid or invisible professions. Though shocking, many communities practice this colorism with pure dedication. The light-skinned Filipinos are preferred over Morenos, pale North Indians are regarded as superior to South Indians, and East Asians frequently fetishize European traits while criticizing darker Southeast Asians. Even in Malaysia and Indonesia, where darker-skinned tribes such as Tamils and Papuans are native residents, whiter features continue to be admired. These features were about the proximity to privilege and who gets to be seen as fully human. But whiteness alone won't save you in Asia's racial hierarchy. You can bleach your skin until it glows in the dark, but holding the wrong passport will still drag you to the bottom. Take Japan, for example. In a 2021 government study, over 30% of foreign technical interns, especially from Vietnam and Indonesia, reported discrimination in housing and workplace treatment. These are people doing Japan's hardest, most undesirable jobs, like building and cleaning. They're definitely not photographing cherry blossoms. Yet they're treated as if their presence is a temporary inconvenience, an unnecessary evil. Many Japanese still cling to the belief that they are, quite simply, the superior race. Then there's South Korea. They've exported K-pop, K-dramas, and K-beauty to the world. But ask them about Southeast Asians, and suddenly the mask slips. In Korean media, Southeast Asians are often portrayed like characters from a 1980s sitcom. Poor financial choices, exaggerated accents, funny mannerisms. The message is clear. They're entertainment, not equals. And the truth is, Asia has a silent ladder, and every country knows exactly where it stands on it. At the top sit the self-appointed royalty, Japan, South Korea, and China, nations with historical empires, global tech domination, and enough cultural export power to make Netflix back down. They are Asia's model minority, the overachievers whom everyone admires but secretly resents. The Southeast and South Asian countries are typically branded with outdated colonial terms such as developing, chaotic, colorful, or the usual soulful but poor. Singapore will smile through a Chinese tourist's fourth selfie stick collision of the day, but God forbid a Bangladeshi family orders too loudly at hawker center. A Korean bride married is welcomed with open arms in Vietnam, while a Vietnamese bride married into a Korean family is scrutinized for not being culturally refined enough. Even within the same nation, hierarchies persist. In Thailand, a beauty queen with Eurasian features is celebrated as the ideal, while darker-skinned Thai celebrities endure public ridicule. In Japan, a half Bangladeshi Miss Universe winner must repeatedly defend her crown against her own countrymen, who insist her parents had the wrong mix of blood. This hierarchy decides who gets to define what Asian even means and who gets erased from the narrative entirely. So you failed the skin color test and lost the passport lottery. Is there any hope left? Actually, yes. There's one more category where you can redeem yourself, and it is your accent. It is that powerful you-know reverse that instantly ranks you ahead on the continent's unseen social ladder. Speak in a neutral American or British accent, or even Hong Kong accent. Great. You're now cosmopolitan and educated. But do you have a strong Filipino, Indian, or Vietnamese accent?
You know, we don't speak like that.
Oops, it appears you are now provincial or uneducated. A 2024 poll of Asian multinational businesses discovered that more than 60% of Asian employees felt assessed by their own colleagues based on their accent or English competence. That's correct. Sometimes the harshest critics are sitting just across from you in the break room. And there is a small but interesting story behind this. Once, long ago, mastering the colonizer's language meant gaining power and reputation. Over time, this resulted in a severe inferiority feeling, which scholars refer to as colonial cringe. Basically, if it sounds Western, it is smarter. If not, not so much. Accents, however, are more than simply a cross-border issue. They also exist within countries. In Japan, the accent in Tokyo is the gold standard of intelligence on national television, whereas regional dialects, such as Osaka's, are frequently employed for comic relief. While in China, speaking Mandarin with a strong regional accent might invite subtle class and education judgments. Thus, the hideously dubbed Chinese dramas. And in the Philippines, the phrase "Konyo" refers to persons who mix English and Tagalog in a way that says, "I'm trying way too hard to be elite." Generally, in Asia, pronunciation is a social resume that's evaluated before you even open your mouth. But Asians are finally starting to push back against Asian racism, and the resistance is coming from unexpected places. Chinese tourists are now protesting "No Chinese Allowed" signs outside Japanese restaurants. Cambodians are calling out Thailand when they try to claim Cambodian culture as their own. Vietnamese citizens are demanding stricter regulations against disrespectful Korean tourists. Platforms like TikTok and YouTube, which can spread biases, are becoming the major means for breaking them down. Across the continent, creators are utilizing humor, personal stories, and real statistics to expose colorism, accent discrimination,
Look, I'm American. I think I'll use my credit card.
and national chauvinism. The hashtag Asian on Asian racism has received over 120 million views, providing a global arena for a discussion that was previously limited to private kitchens and living rooms. This generation is posing a powerful question. How can we fight racism abroad when we engage in a perfected form of it ourselves? We see the roots of change in popular culture. K-pop groups now frequently feature Thai, Indian, and Filipino idols, though they are all white. Bollywood is taking tentative moves to better reflect its northeastern inhabitants. Cross-border collaborations among artists are becoming increasingly popular. Now remember that promise I made at the beginning? That you'd find out who wins the Squid Game of Asian racism? Actually, nobody wins. Not you, not me, not even the people at the top of the hierarchy. There can never be a winner when the rules were made to never let anyone be free. If you're not done watching, I've got 2 videos you can watch next. You can learn more about East Asia's beauty hierarchy here. If you want to learn more about racism differences between the West and Asia, then watch this video.